Welcome to the December 2022 Phenomenal Feats ballot brought to you by the official Speedrun Hall of Fame. Moment 3. AndrewG nails the first ever sub 5 in Super Mario Bros. In 2010.
I hope that I'm accurate because it has been a while. It's like it's been longer than like I think it has. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's like we're like 10, 11 years ago. Yeah.
When you think of a speedrun, there's likely only a few games that come immediately to mind. For some, titles like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Metroid, or Super Mario 64. For others, perhaps it's Portal, Pokemon, or even GoldenEye. But it's hard to say that many games out there are as eponymous with speedrunning as Super Mario Bros. On the NES. And when you talk about Mario speedruns, there's one person that comes to mind when you talk about milestones.
It's always funny when people say that because I'm like, it's like that's kind of cool. No, I feel like it's weird being the person that like a lot of people, speedrunners you watch, they got started because they watched my stuff. It's like, I don't know, it's weird. Just to be like that person. It's a cool thing. It's a cool feeling.
Without going into the man's accolades too much here, AndrewG is considered to be the most influential Super Mario Bros. Speedrunner of all time.
When AndrewG first achieved the sub 5 back in December of 2010, it was a huge milestone at the time. No one really thought the game could be beaten in under 5 minutes, and he did just that all those years ago. And all these years later, myself and many other runners throughout the years, we wanted to achieve that same goal that he did. So he was a huge inspiration for us in the SMB1 community, and it was really cool to see the sub 5 happen.
One of the first people to really work on grinding the time down, he was the world record holder for many years before he was able to finally complete Super Mario Bros. In under 5 minutes, accomplishing this feat on December 24th, 2010.
Well, I mean, when I started it wasn't even possible. Strategy-wise, it wasn't even realistic until like 2007 when I got the 5-minute run. After that, I thought it seemed like it probably was possible because in my 5-minute run, I messed up the wall jump in the last stage by just a little bit. I'm like about half a second. So I was like, so under 5 minutes is probably possible. At the time, that 5-minute run was like insane, even though it's really like by today's standards, in a way, it's not that special. I mean, it depends on the context. I mean, for back then, it was crazy. I mean, I didn't have save states or anything, so it's like just a lot different kind of process.
So back in 2010, there weren't any practice ROMs of any kind, so we couldn't practice any stages one by one. Instead, we would have to play the game from start to finish and see what would work and what wouldn't work. And in order to get a sub 5, you pretty much have to play every level without bonking into anything, getting pipe jumps. Then in 8-4, got to get the wall jump. In the wall jump room, got to get the turnaround. So you can load up the next screen, which is the water section, and try not to bonk into anything there and avoid the fire bars. And then especially in the very final screen, dealing with Bowser, since he has multiple different hammer patterns, even though he jumps like forward, backwards, or even change direction, it's hard to tell without knowing what frame rules we would be on and what kind of pattern we would get. So achieving a sub 5 is definitely pretty difficult at the time, but now that we have resources, it is definitely attainable.
After implementing many time saves into his run, including the fast 4-2 setup and the wrong warp that made sub 5 possible.
Yeah, I think I got a 5-minute 0.2 seconds, if I remember right. Yeah, I think it was 2010. After I did that, I think I had made some little mistakes, and so I thought, this is definitely possible. You know, I got some help with strategy from a guy named Weir Window for 4-2. For like the bumps, the backward bumps. I had been doing them, and then he thought, oh, maybe you could do it like this. And I think I changed the strategy a little bit, and it ended up saving some time. So at that point, it was like, I know it's possible, and I know I can do it. So I'm gonna put this together.
As well as his own journey to accomplish what he thought of as the perfect run. He would go on to improve his record many times, paving the way for the reigns of future record holders such as Darbian and Cosmic and many other Super Mario Bros. Speedrunners to come.
Today we have over 300 runners with a sub 5 in SMB1 80%. Ever since AndrewG attained the goal back in 2010, many runners strive to achieve that same thing throughout the years, and to see that many people have it and it's still growing to this day, it is pretty astounding to see.
Super Mario Brothers is like, I always think that the run is gonna be like, I always think that it's like perfect. I get a, you know, like when I got my 5 minute 0.6 seconds, I know that I messed up the wall jump, but I was like, I don't even know if a 4:59 is possible. At that point in time, I had gotten all the frame rolls that were available, so it's like, if I improved the last stage, then a 4:59 could probably happen. I mean, I think my 5 minute run, and especially the 4:59, it was such a big milestone. Like, I think it brought me into the spotlight a lot more. For it to finally get under 5 minutes, it was a big deal.